What have I done? What have I become? I can't describe this. This is my mid-mic crisis.
Hello and welcome to the Mid-Mic Crisis. I am Bunchu alongside my esteemed colleague and co-host Chamber. Chamber, how you doing, buddy?
Good, man. Could you see me struggling trying to find the right buttons to hit with my no glasses on? It's the worst.
Not only that, but we're like on opposite sides today.
I noticed last time we were not. It looks like we're actually talking to each other now.
Is that right? Because of the angle that I choose.
To me, it does. I don't know if it actually does, but in my view,
it kind of just looks like I'm whispering sweet nothings into your ear. But I'm here for it. But what's going on? How are you?
It's February. It's my least favorite month.
This is your least favorite month?
I feel like it's the least favorite month. You know, in the Easter.
You think it's consensus that February is the least favorite month?
I think so. No, I don't know. I feel like it is. Like it's terrible. It's the end of winter. It's maximum like winter depression. For the people that are single, you got Valentine's Day, which makes you feel like a hunk of junk. For people that are partnered, same thing. You got to do some shit. You got to buy flowers that are just gonna die. You gotta buy, it's all horseshit. It's also my birthday in February, which just makes me feel old.
I'm glad that Payne made this joke because it actually came in my head. And I was like, I can't say it.
Also, Black History. First of all, Kendrick Lamar.
Wow, should we talk about it?
Yes, we should talk about it because it's Black History Month. And that was some Black history right there.
Sure was.
I was shocked that so many people that's the only part of the Super Bowl I watched.
Did you even watch the Super Bowl?
Did not watch the Super Bowl. Turned it on
just for the halftime show.
Just for the halftime show. I mean, the man won 5 Grammys and got the Super Bowl halftime show all based on hate towards Drake, which I'm 100% in for. And did a bunch of other stuff that I thought it was fantastic. I think
I need to, when we get to 1 minute of pain later, I need his full commentary on this because he's social media was very split on the.
I was shocked.
I think most of the detractors come from the old crusty white guy camp.
My favorite meme.
People that are my parents' age and high.
I get it.
Above, yeah.
But I mean, let's not pretend like we never had Eminem. Last year was Rihanna. I mean,
but my parents would have did hate those shows too.
Right. So
they want Mick Jagger and like I don't even who would be interesting to them at this point. I don't even know.
Zero people.
Taylor Swift? Is Taylor Swift interesting to those people?
I don't think so. But I did see a lot of even like the non-seniors that were complaining about it are like the same dudes that'll go and like, I didn't understand a word, and then we'll go and listen to Pearl Jam. I'm like, what are we talking? I thought that was the funniest meme of the weekend. I'm like, oh yeah, that totally makes sense. But I give the Super Bowl credit every year. Like they always put on a good show for the most part. Every year is like at least entertaining. Like last year was Rihanna. The Weekend was really good. I thought a couple of years ago. My favorite one is like the Prince. I don't know if you guys remember like the Prince one.
Oh, see, like that's one that my parents would love. The Prince.
That's the best one. Like that to me, that's still the best one. But I always think they're like really, really well done. And I thought that was just another like when Samuel Jackson came out, I'm like, oh, this is amazing. And when he stared down the barrel of the camera on Hey Drake, like
Drake.
I was like floating. I'm like, oh my God, this
So
is
like
amazing.
I'm not a huge like modern rap guy. I'm not
I wouldn't say I am either.
Yeah, I'm not like super aware of like the Kendrick Lamar anthology, I would say. But
I think most people
of
would.
course I'm aware of the the Drake beef. And so I was kind of like I was in my own world during halftime. I was watching the show, I was paying attention, but like I just I was just an observer. And then that happened and I was like, oh shit.
Smile
I was like, did
face.
he just do that?
It was a very
incredible.
layered. It was
Well,
a very
like that
layered.
plus the Serena Williams thing, like that was really interesting.
So did you know both Serena Williams and SZA were both ex-girlfriends of Drake?
Yeah, which is just so I mean, like the whole thing was just
fantastic.
You know.
But yeah, made a lot of social commentary, which I thought was really good. I thought it was excellent. I thought it was excellent. But yeah, I was shocked with some of this the splitting. I understand old people not liking it, but there was I felt like it was more than just old people. Like Theo Vaughn was just like not my take. Like fucking Theo Vaughn.
Yeah, well, I mean, like Theo Vaughn, who's he want?
Oh, I don't know. He's just dog whistling.
He's really looking forward to that rich man up in Richmond halftime show.
Listen. But yes, I thought it was great. I thought it was fun. I thought it was a great spectacle.
This has to be our 1 minute of pain today because this is an interesting comment as well. A lot of minority PvP amongst his friends.
What is that? I don't know what that means. I'm sorry.
It means even his friends who are
we're like not even like we're like even split on it.
So he's saying it's not all just the crusty old white guys is essentially what
there was a lot of crusty old white men and women that were a lot of TikToks I saw where it's just like blank stares during the halftime show. Like
I enjoyed it.
But yeah,
it's funny. I actually enjoyed it more after it happened because like I
100%.
totally went to social media and X and Twitter and I was just like, I need more of this. Like, feed me the drama.
I heard Trump left during the show.
No, like, I don't know about that.
I don't know. I mean, that's what I heard. That's what I heard. Yeah. But yeah, I thought it was good. Go Birds.
Go Birds.
You know, love to see it. I have to imagine this is going to weave its way into It's Always Sunny at some point. Maybe this season.
The last one did.
Yep. So
they did a whole episode about it.
They did a double episode about it. If
that's right. That's true.
By the way, did you watch the Abbott Elementary It's Always Sunny crossover?
I did not.
So it was fine. It was good. There is going to be a Sunny version of that. So from that perspective,
yeah, I saw that,
which I think is going to be fantastic. But one of my favorite things that has happened is Abbott Elementary is a very popular show, but a more traditional sitcom style. So a lot of people, like a good chunk of
got
people,
their first taste of what
and then let's go watch It's Always Sunny, and they
got their first taste of what it's like to not win an Emmy in 17 years.
Yeah. So it's funny seeing a lot of people coming over and watching Sunny from that spinoff. But yeah, speaking of sports though, we have lots of stuff to talk about today. You are on the precipice of something monumental, in my opinion.
Monumental. That is, I mean, look, I hope so. I
know so. How about that?
I think it's a pretty cool thing that we're building, and I'm excited to talk about it. And today's kind of like really the first day that it's, I don't know, talk aboutable, I guess. About out in the world. Yeah, we kind of launched our X profile today. We are launching officially on Friday with our token. So yeah, let's get into it. I don't even know, where do you want to start first? I guess the first place to start is and I think this is actually a really good segue into the conversation. For those of you who don't know, I am the CEO and co-founder of a company called Billy Bets. Billy is a autonomous sports betting AI agent and research assistant. We'll get into all of that in a moment, but this is why it's topical. Yesterday, you texted me, or was it yesterday or the day before?
2 days ago. Yeah.
2 days ago.
Yes.
You texted me and you said, "Hey, I got a hot tip." This is essentially what you said.
More or less.
You were like, "Hey,
the tip was from myself."
Yeah, you're like, "Hey, what's the Luka points over underline tonight in the Lakers debut?" And
I texted both my gambling friends too.
And I said, "Well, it's 26.5, Chamber." And you're like, "Hammer it." 50 easy.
He's getting 75.
75 tonight. And so look, I was down for a little just funsies action.
Yeah.
So I placed a bet on it. Not how I usually source my bets, but I was down.
Would not recommend doing that going forward.
I was down to ride with you on that bet. And then I was watching, or I was on Twitter that night, and I just saw like the highlight of his first 3-pointer, which was a pretty good highlight.
Pretty good.
And I was like, "Oh, this is a lock." I checked the box score the next day, and he had like 22 minutes and 14 points.
About 30 minutes after I texted you, I'm on Twitter, and it's just JJ saying, "Oh, we have him on a minutes restriction." And I'm like, "Oh, I guess I can't go back and text them back." Like,
you're like, "Hey, can you?"
I'm like, "Can he score 50 in like 20 minutes? Maybe."
Can you get a receipt, or can you get a refund on that, or how's that work?
Yeah, minutes kicked in. He did look. I mean, he looked good, but also looked like he hasn't played basketball in a while. But I mean, they still put up like 135 points. Bet the over on Laker totals, I think, is the move going forward.
We'll see about that. Let's
200
points tonight.
17,000 points.
Shoot.
But they did drop 132, 135 points, which in the first game, which I thought was impressive. But
so are you still excited here?
So excited. I'm so excited. This is going to be, I don't know. I don't know about this year necessarily. I mean, it could be. We could make a run this year. I'm very excited to see what we do in the off season. But I'm more interested. Last show, I think we talked about the Raptor game.
Yes.
And I didn't check the score on that one. Did you end up winning that, or how did that one go?
No, we did the ChatGPT deep research on that one, and it did not win. It actually got pretty close to what ChatGPT said. I did not win. I did not win. ChatGPT got it right. It actually won by more than ChatGPT suggested. The deep research suggested it might. So,
Interesting.
Yes, so it did. And I also had it do it. I did a tweet for the Super Bowl using deep research to come up with the Super Bowl winner, a play on the total, the over under, and then 3 prop bets. And it gave me 5 total plays it gave, and it went 2 and 3. So it was a loser on the Super Bowl as well. However, the under should have hit in that game. Like, it was a blowout. It was 40-6 with 3 minutes left, and they scored 2 touchdowns. So
the big takeaway so far is don't trust me with your gambling picks,
and
don't trust OpenAI.
Don't trust ChatGPT so much either.
But can we trust Billy? Is the question.
I think we can. Should we talk about Billy?
Let's do it.
Okay, so we don't have a cool jingle for this one, but
I will work on a Billy jingle,
because we should have a Billy segment every week now. We should be tracking its win-loss and its profitability and all of that wonderful stuff. So as mentioned, I'm super excited. We are launching Billy Bets, the sharpest AI agent in the game. So for those of you who don't know, I've been around the crypto block for quite some time. I got into this space in 2017, actually via sports betting. So my handle on Twitter is Bunchu Bets. And I think now this is it. This is the culmination of everything that I've ever worked towards, Chamber, because I've tried to change that handle just to Bunchu a lot of times.
Yes.
And unavailable. So I've had to stick with Bunchu Bets because that Twitter account was actually originally a sports gambling Twitter account that I had. And that's all it was. I used it for. And so in 2017, the landscape of sports betting was very much different than it is today. You had no like DraftKings, you had no FanDuel. There was no like US regulated markets. You had to go and do shady stuff to bet sports. You either had to, have an Uncle Vito who knew a guy who worked a book.
I feel like you had buddies that had Uncle Vitos. No?
Oh yeah, for sure. Like I've met a dude or two in an alley with a sack of cash a couple times in my day. You had to play at like offshore books where the bet onlines and Bovadas and things like that. And what was happening in 2017 was your banks would not allow you to deposit onto those platforms. And so what you had to do was like, I remember having to go to like Western Unions and doing like wires or money orders to these like shady sports books. And Western Unions are never in great places. And so it's always like, what am I doing? And so in that time though, all of those sports books started taking crypto deposits, specifically Bitcoin. And that is actually how I found crypto. Did you know all of that?
I mean, I knew that, yes. I would say a good percentage of people that got into crypto around our time have a similar story.
I remember, we've interviewed a lot of people on this show, and they all had a pattern of like mining Doge or they came in from like gambling, right?
Yeah, mining Doge, gambling, and then like selling skins for like World of Warcraft. You know what I mean?
Because they were all.
I think isn't Mount Gox like World of Warcraft? I think
Magic the Gathering.
Magic the Gathering. That's what I'm thinking. Yes. Some nerd bullshit.
Okay, MTG Exchange Mount Gox. Yeah.
That's why you're a CEO and I'm smoking weed.
Well, all right. So that is kind of how I got into crypto way back when. So sports betting has been in my blood for many years. I kind of just like grew up around gambling in one way or another. Like my family played a lot of cards. I played poker in high school, all that kind of stuff. And I got to tell you, I was not always a winning bettor. So I spent the first probably 8 years of my betting career as just a giant loser. Like one of those people who just doesn't understand what they're actually doing and thinks they know better than everybody.
A lot of emotion, I'm assuming too. Like I'm an emotional gambler.
Like you know ball. You don't know ball, and you don't need to know ball, right? No. Like so what I didn't understand then that I do now as a winning sports bettor is, and again I could thank a little bit of crypto for this, is that I didn't truly understand that it was a market, right? Like it is a market. It is a financial market, just like crypto or the stock market or collectibles or anything, right? And once you start realizing that, and you can apply math and market dynamics to these things, the winning becomes the easy part because you learn how to win. And anybody can win at sports betting if you understand that it is a market and you treat it as such, right? Like your buddy at the bar that is putting in 40 leg lotto ticket parlays and he hits 39, that guy, and complains about it, that guy goes broke, right? But there's a lot of proven winning strategies that you can find in sports betting that make you long-term profitable. And once you become profitable as a sports bettor, in today's landscape, mostly, the easy part becomes winning, and the hard part becomes getting your money down.
Right. Keeping an account.
Correct. So like most people don't know this probably, but your DraftKings, your FanDuels, your Caesars, your all these regulated sports books, like if you are a winning bettor, they don't want you there. You are hurting.
They want me. They don't want you.
A DraftKings, right? Like they are a publicly traded company. It is literally in juxtaposition to have winning bettors.
They want the guy that's going to put down $100 on Luka getting 50 points.
Yeah. Right. And lose 40 times in a row and still come back.
Still think it's going to happen. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, right. And so, well, look, the thing with that though is, and again, this is the market dynamics. Everything is a good bet relative to its price, right? Like price is the thing that matters. And it's not necessarily, so like, look, Luka to score 50 at the right odds is a good bet, right? But it has to do with the implied probability that can happen, and they have to match, or you have to be getting better value than the implied probability, right?
Yeah, I mean that, like for example, like Luka getting 50, if on an average 82 game season he hits 50 1.2 times a season, then that's
you should be getting odds that reflect that or better. And if you're not, which you're most likely not, it's a bad bet, right? So, but most people don't really kind of think of it that way. They think,
the first time he hits 50, I'm texting you like, I should have bet.
yeah, exactly. Exactly. But so, once you start to win, you realize that you get limited, and you get basically totally handicapped on like what you can actually,
in the sense that the amount that you want to spend, you can't spend, that sort of thing, right? Like they limit you on how much you can bet.
Correct. So like, for example, on DraftKings, if I go to try to pull up to bet a college basketball game an hour before tip, maybe they'll let me get $100 down. Maybe.
Whereas you may want to put 10 times that amount.
Yeah.
Maybe more. I don't know. I don't know what you're doing. I don't know.
But yes, right. Like, so because if you're doing this in any like really significant way, you have to roll your bankroll over and over and over and over. And that's how you make money quickly. Right. So the problem becomes you get limited. And when you get limited, your options turn from, legal, like the regulated sports books to this new trend that is coming up, which is kind of these exchanges and peer-to-peer exchanges, decentralized sports betting exchanges.
Polymarket being the top of the heap, right?
Depending. So Polymarket is like a prediction market, but they also have sports. You can bet mainline NBA games on Polymarket. They do not have like the craziest, most robust sports betting offering, but they but somewhere like an SX Bet, which is another which we've had on the show before.
We did have them
they are a blockchain based sports book, and the way that works is they're totally decentralized. So you can go and either provide liquidity or take liquidity on a bet, depending on the odds. And it just kind of is a peer-to-peer version of this stuff. And the beauty of that is that there is no limiting, right? There is no, you can't bet here, or your account is toast and all of that. And now the problem with those in the early days, which I think we are still in the early days of this, is you're bound by then the liquidity of the exchange or the market, right? Somebody has to be on the other side offering it to you, right? But
so for example, if you wanted to put $25,000 down,
right, maybe there's only 2,500 available for you to take on a specific market, right? And then, but you can try to do other things, right? So like you could take what's available, and you can offer out a price, like you could offer the extra 23,000 at a price that might be attractive to the market, right? So all of that to say is like I started, getting limited and losing all my accounts across all of my major sports books, and I I ended up having to play on these exchanges as my main source of having to bet. So that experience and the kind of crypto experience that I've had building in the space and all of the kind of AI stuff that I've been deep diving in for the last 2.5 years has kind of led me to this, I think, unique position to build something that is at the kind of Venn diagram of all my interests: crypto, AI, sports betting. And that is what we're doing with Billy Bets. It is kind of born out of two things, right? It is born out of this, I think, budding market that can be decentralized, that can be programmatically bet into, which is perfect for, an AI agent to do. And I think the other piece is, it is a research assistant as well. So you'll be able to come and chat with it on X or on Discord, and it can actually provide you real-time information on the sports betting market and things like that. So, that's a big problem too. I think like any other market, information and data is key. And I think like one of the very low hanging fruit, if you are a kind of casual sports bettor, is getting the best price on things, right? So
Absolutely.
There's 100 sports books around the state of New Jersey. If I want to bet that Luka prop, I better be getting the best price, because when I win it, I win more, and when I lose it, I lose less, right? And
Right.
that's the difference between being a losing and winning better half the time, right? So the idea is that armed with kind of the real-time data and for research and the ability to kind of go out and help you search the web for things, and this really interesting phenomenon that we have in crypto of an agent being able to control its wallet and use APIs and make decisions based on data and information and all of these pipelines. A autonomous sports betting AI agent, I think, is a really interesting and novel concept. And then like the next piece of this is having a token attached to it. And we've talked about this a bunch of times, but like, just bring the website up here. Actually, maybe before we do that, I could show the Twitter video. What do you think?
I was gonna say, before we even do that, we got to do a plug. Can I read an OpenAI created show plug? Okay, all right.
Only if I could read one right after.
Yeah, 100%. Before we dive in, if you love tech, AI, crypto, and wild conspiracy theories, hit that subscribe button and share it with your friends.
That's good. Oh man, that is exactly what the show notes say here. It's fantastic. So wait, is this is segment 2, right?
Yeah, I didn't know where we are in the segments.
I think this is about right.
Yeah. Right.
This is segment 2, because now we're gonna do a little Billy 101. We're gonna show the Twitter vid, right?
That's
so right. let's bring that up here 1 second. So we launched this today, which is cool. We have the agent out on X today, so you could start interacting with it.
Did the agent just start today?
No, we've been testing it for a while. We've been building this thing for months, but we really kind of let it go on the main Twitter account today. And so let's see. Can you see this?
Yeah.
All right, let's blow it up here.
Meet Billy, the world's first autonomous sports betting AI with a serious edge and a not-so-serious personality. Think of Billy as your genius friend at the bar who watches every game, remembers every stat, and somehow always knows when the line's off. Except Billy never sleeps, never misses a game, and can process years of sports data in seconds. Billy doesn't just give advice. Billy puts skin in the game. Armed with real-time data, proprietary prediction models powered by SportsTensor, and access to decentralized betting platforms, Billy makes his own bets, growing his bankroll using proven strategies. Billy bets like a pro, making long-term ROI. It's not about winning every bet, it's about winning consistently over time. Billy doesn't bet for you, but you can bet on Billy. By holding Billy tokens, you get exposure to every bet Billy makes through a buyback and burn mechanism. Billy bets, Billy banks, Billy burns. Got a question for Billy? Hit up Billy on X at Ask Billy Bets or across platforms like Discord and Telegram.
There we go.
Cool. That's pretty fantastic, actually.
What do you think of that video?
Billy bets, Billy bet, or what is that? Billy Banks, and then Billy Burns. I love it.
Yeah,
I think
you know, yours truly wrote that script. How about that?
That's
Would
fantastic.
you have ever thought?
I knew it. I could feel it in my heart. But that was fantastic. I really liked it. I actually watched it 2 or 3 times when you sent it over to me. So I liked it a lot. I thought it was very well done.
So that's the Billy intro. So couple things here. So you can come over to at Ask Billy Bets and follow our main account. But I'll walk through kind of what we saw in that video. You can see our websites here, billybets.ai, which I was showing. We could go and see the light paper in just a second here as well, but just taking a scroll here on our Twitter account. So this is the type of stuff you can expect to see from the Twitter account.
Billy getting involved in the Dallas Mavericks channel.
Oh yeah, Billy likes drama, baby. Billy likes,
I love it.
Billy likes to mix it up. He's getting involved in the Mavs owners. Billy's retweeting the MLB Network because Billy will be betting on baseball. He's commenting here on Dennis Schroeder turning down $84 million
with the Lakers. Yeah,
he's on his 3rd team in 2 months. We've got, commentary on lineups, a little KD action here, and then it'll tweet its own things and things like that. The idea here too is eventually it's going to share the bets that it makes here on Twitter, share its P&L, share some like real-time data and insights here on Twitter as well.
I think that's when the rubber really hits the road for the at least the Twitter part of it. I think that's going to be really, really impressive when he starts breaking down and showing stats and stuff like that.
Totally. And I think like that's super close to, you can almost think of what like the vision as kind of like AI XBT for sports, right? Where you've got kind of these real-time feeds that it can make commentary on, like maybe it spots the best price in the market on the Lakers money line tonight, and it tells you what sports book it's at, right? Like that's valuable data that you don't have to go find yourself if you're a sports bettor. So there's all of that. You can actually also just tag Billy and ask it a question on Twitter, and it will respond to you. It will decide if it needs to go out and do some kind of internet search, or if it could just tap into it from its knowledge or kind of the real-time data feeds that we're using. So you might be able to ask it something like, hey, what's the spread on the Celtics game and what book has the best price? You might be able to say, hey, Billy, give me some analysis on the Super Bowl matchup, and it would give you some thoughts on the Super Bowl. All of that wonderful stuff that you'll be able to do. So you can do that right on Twitter, and then you'll be able to do it in Discord as well. I kind of like using it in Discord. It's more like back and forth conversational. I could show you a quick kind of demo here in a couple minutes, but that's the like research side, right? So you can think of Billy as like really 2 different things. You've got the research piece of it where you can interact with it. It can help you with your sports betting, DFS, all of that kind of stuff. And then there's what I think is the really cool and novel piece is the autonomous sports bettor side of it. So the idea around this is like, wouldn't it be cool if we could plug in some winning strategies to an AI agent and have it actually go out and make money, right? Win bets, grow its bankroll. And what I think is really cool about that is that like the agent's not selfish, right? Like exactly. Agent can be making money and it doesn't need that money, right? So what can it do with the money? What can it do with those funds? And how can it accrue value to a larger community, right? Like we had Shaw on and from AI16Z back before like his 40th crash out, and we talked.
He
to
did
him.
seem a little unhinged back then too. So it wasn't shocking.
but you know, he talked about the idea of like the autonomous trader that they were building, right?
Yeah.
And what I really liked about what he was saying there is that there's this opportunity to kind of reward communities that ride with you in a way that like can be, you know, financially rewarding, but without based on just them having to like believe in something, right? And hold a token. And I think that's really interesting, because if the agent can actually go out, control its own wallet, make returns, well, then it can be benevolent with those returns, right? So it can buy back and burn its own token, for example, which is the Billy Banks or Billy Bets, Billy Banks, Billy Burns, right? So with portions of
was Billy Banks the name of the Tybo guy?
I believe that is Billy Blanks.
Billy Blanks.
I believe. I'm not totally sure. It's one or the other.
You have to be old enough. A lot of the youngins won't remember.
Tybo, man, that is blast.
that had a grip on.
What's the modern day Tybo? Is it Peloton?
Yeah, because it was Tybo, and then it was P90X.
And then I think, and then P90X was even like years after Tybo.
Oh yeah. But I feel like those are like the big ones. And prior to that one was the Thigh Master.
Oh. I thought you were going with the shake weight.
Shake weights are good too. That's a good
one. Cut that one. That's fantastic. But yeah, so the idea is that the agent can kind of accrue value back to its token holders in a couple different ways. I think there's some interesting tokenomics to be had here. So like there's buyback and burn. So the agent will take portion of its bankroll winnings and start buying back and burning its own tokens, or buying back and using it as rewards, things of that nature. And then there's this idea of like, and I could tap into our light paper here. Just a second.
I did read speaking of the light paper, there was a word on there I wasn't even familiar. I thought there was a typo, but it seemed to work.
Might be.
No, I think it's just me not knowing about betting stuff. What's one second here. I'm gonna pull it up again. What is what's a sharp? I'm like that cannot be that. I'm like, did they mean shark? I thought
sharp sports better. Sharps versus squares.
Did not know what that was.
The sharps versus the squares. Yes. A sharp sports bettor is somebody who has a edge sports betting.
And you will refer to them as like a sharp? Like
that? Yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
For sure.
I did not know that. Yeah.
That's like, sharp. That's a sharp bet. That
yeah, I thought you guys meant shark.
No,
it was no.
You're like, dude, there's 200 error typos in this light paper you guys made.
But ChatGPT, really when I was putting out the thing, they kept saying it. I'm like, oh, it must be, you know what I mean? It must be a real word. And like, why would ChatGPT keep saying that? So I thought it was funny. I'm like, well, I don't know what that is. I'm gonna have to ask you. So okay, that's good to know.
Yes. So if we throw up the light paper here. So I think, one of the other things we didn't really hit on was, the agent's going to be able to provide data out into the Twitter sphere and all of that. Right. But I think like there's also this really cool opportunity to build just like a really interesting persona, almost as this sports betting or sports influencer, right? Like this idea that it can be part of the conversation, have interesting commentary, and that the Twitter account can almost be as like this top of funnel marketing
100%.
thing for the autonomous betting piece of it. Yeah. So that's kind of like what we're aiming for with, the X and the Twitter account. So this idea of kind of next gen agent influencer, and you and I have been playing with that idea for a while. I think this is a pretty cool way to do it. So the autonomous betting stuff we kind of went through, but there's really two ways that, or a couple different ways that we're actually going to make bets over time. One of the most interesting things that powers Billy right now to make profitable bets is this idea of sports intelligence. So we have partnered directly. Are you familiar with BitTensor?
I am. I mean, I know of it, not, that plugged in, but yes.
Yes. So BitTensor is a specifically crypto AI focused chain, I would say. And it is comprised of a bunch of subnets. And these subnets they all have a specific purpose to basically utilize AI and data and all of this stuff and rewarding people with that BitTensor token to build, AI crypto products. And so we have partnered with the BitTensor subnet SportsTensor, which is subnet 41. If anyone wants to check them out, I think it's just bittensor.com, is it? Or sorry, sportstensor.com. Yeah, sportstensor.com. I can bring that up really quickly as well. But we've partnered with them to be the initial kind of brains and power of kind of our sports betting intelligence. And I think that is interesting for a couple reasons. So this is what these guys do. So engineering their tagline here, engineering market dominance through distributed AI. So we are actually using kind of distributed AI networks to power the betting decisions and intelligence behind Billy. So by partnering with SportTensor, they are providing us intelligence on the NBA to start. So Billy will be actually actively betting every night on the NBA markets. And that is kind of like piece number one that feeds Billy's betting decisions. So shout out to our friends and partners at SportTensor. Now, what's crazy about this is SportTensor is basically powering the modeling behind the betting intelligence. And their models back test profitably versus like, okay, let's just say you bet your chamber, you love, you just want some action. You're always betting the favorites, right?
Right.
So if you just bet the favorites on the NBA this year, you would be down around 5 to 6% of your
really.
bankroll. Yeah, if you just bet favorites, right? And there's a lot of different reasons for that. Obviously, it's actually pretty consistent with like what you call the sports book hold. So when you have two different lines on a sports game, they are not necessarily equal, right? So you don't, if it's a 50-50, meant to be a 50-50 thing, like a spread, right? It's not priced at plus 100, which would be even 50-50 odds. It's priced at minus 110 at both sides. So you're actually paying the book a fee to take your bet. And that's how the sports books make their money. If you actually do the math on that, it's like 52.5%-ish, 52%.
I see what you're saying.
On both sides.
Yeah.
So on any given game, sports books are holding somewhere around 4 to 5%.
Gotcha.
Sometimes, and different markets have different holds, right? Like the more obscure the market or the harder it is to price, like props have a higher hold market than a mainline spread, right? For example, which might only have a 2% hold or something like that, right? So the idea that if you bet every favorite, you'd be down 5% is pretty consistent, I think, with sportsbook hold, right? If you were betting all of the intelligence that SportsTensor has, you'd be up 20%. And so that's pretty significant in terms of ROI and specifically the way it works in sports betting, right? So if I tell you I'm a sports bettor with 20% ROI, that is different than I told you I made 20% ROI on my stock portfolio this year, right? Like one is a static, never moving bankroll that, like, let's say it's 100K, you have 100K worth of stocks, and over the course of the year, you have made 20%. In sports betting,
which is very rare, by the way.
Yes, in sports betting, it is a function of how many times you can roll over your bankroll, right?
Compounding.
So if I had that same 100K, and again, back to the liquidity conversation, if I have a winning sports betting strategy or model or whatever, and I could get that 100K liquidity down every day, for example, you're compounding it every time you roll over that bankroll. So the opportunity to make like large returns for the agent is there, right? It's not like, oh, we're going to fund this wallet with 100K and it's going to return 20%. That's $20,000. It's going to be an average of essentially, let's put it this way. If every time you bet the 100,000, you would make 20,000, and you just try to do that as many times as possible, right? And optimize your betting strategy and all that stuff, right? So that is the significance of having a partner like SportsTensor powering a lot of the agent intelligence, right? So it's taking in all of SportsTensor intelligence. It's doing some things like injury research, lineups, all of that stuff. And then it is actually autonomously making its bets every single day around this time.
And it's making its own bets with real money.
Making its own bets with real money out of a wallet. This is the cool part about having an agent that can control a wallet, right? So it controls a wallet, it sizes its bets, and Billy will actually place its own bets and go get its cash every day. The way Polymarket works is you actually have to redeem your winning bets as well. So Billy has to go to the theoretical window and collect his bets every morning as well.
Really?
So yeah. So every day around this time, a little closer to tip off, Billy actually runs its functions to decide what bets to make, and actually goes and makes its bets. So we had I could bring it up here. We had a test wallet that we just threw out for people to start looking at and tracking. We funded it with $100, and we were just doing really small tests. This is while we were building it, and over the course of 2 weeks, a week and a half, we 6.5x'd the bankroll and returned about 22%, right? So literally right in line with the SportsTensor back tests. But that's kind of what a 22% return looks like on daily roll over the bankroll, with daily high ticket action, right? Like, so again, the idea that the agent could accrue a pretty significant bankroll over time is real, right? And so when it does that and it makes money, how do you what happens next? What's the agent doing to accrue that value back? And that's where like this idea of buyback and burn comes in. We're going to be doing things on the roadmap like staking. So the staking will eventually lead to something on our roadmap called Billy Vaults. And so this is, I just want to go back to the light paper really quick. So again, this is kind of how we're going to initially make bets, is this SportsTensor intelligence. The next, we're going to be piping in a bunch of different sports books and exchanges, and it'll be able to look for arbitrage opportunities. There's some really interesting things you can do with the nature of the blockchain being so open. So this is another thing that you can't do off chain that you can do with an agent on chain. So let's use the DraftKings example. You as a bettor do not know what any other bettor is placing on their DraftKings account from day to day. But because you can, because of the open nature of the blockchain, I could literally set up a listener to any blockchain exchange and look for profitable wallets that are betting and see what they're betting on, how much they're betting on, and you can run their P&Ls. So just like people copy trade crypto traders, right? Profitable crypto traders, you could see, you could build an entire model for the agent to just essentially copy trade profitable bettors, right? So there's this whole other avenue that is really unique to blockchain that you couldn't do in a traditional sports betting market. And then the agent can market make itself, right? So it can provide, because it's got real-time odds data, it can provide markets to these different exchanges over time as well. And again, we just did the example of how does a DraftKings make money? The agent would make money in a similar way. It would offer both sides of the market at a margin, and it collects, money over time. So again, like these are all the ways that the agent can create its own essentially income or grow its bankroll over time. And then what does it do with it, right? So this just goes a little more into the SportsTensor intelligence. So we're going to start with NBA. So we're going to bet the rest of the NBA this year. Money lines only to start. We'll eventually build some stuff for like props and maybe spreads and things like that. Then we're going to go straight into Major League Baseball, which is starting up very soon. So we've got basically year-round betting already going with just NBA and MLB, but we will also be having something for NFL season when that comes back around. And then this idea of kind of the tokenomics. So again, we're starting on Polymarket here, but we are going to expand out to other sports books over time pretty rapidly, I think, as we get a little more dev team in here to help us out. So, these are kind of what the tokenomics looks like. Just by buying and holding this token, you're going to have some sort of exposure to Billy's bets because of that buyback and burn, right? So the idea is over time, it buys back a bunch of its supply, burns it, and as we kind of grow the user base, grow the utility, all this stuff, supply goes down, holders go up, and that is, bullish tokenomics. But wait, there's more.
There's more.
Yes. And by the way, if you're loving this breakdown, make sure to subscribe to the podcast and leave us a review on Apple or Spotify. Tell us what you think of this Billy Betts idea. Tell us anything, really. Just tell us we're two virgins reading the news in their mother's basement. But how was that for a seamless transition?
That's why you're a pro, man. That's why you're a pro.
Look at that. Subscribe on YouTube as well. Give us that thumbs up if you're watching there. It helps. Okay, so there may be some kind of token-gated premium access in the future, maybe some other deep analysis dashboards, things like that. But I think the real kind of interesting thing here is this idea of what we're calling like the Billy vaults. Mm-hmm. And so Billy vaults are, so far when we've floated this idea out and the people have seen the agent betting and all this stuff, the question is, how can I bet with the bot? How could I get Billy to bet for me?
Correct.
And that's a tough nut to crack just because of, regulation and all of that stuff. Mm-hmm. But the idea of Billy vaults kind of coincide with the staking mechanism. So say you went and staked your tokens, and the proportion of the staking pool that you are opens up opportunity for you to put additional funds into the Billy vault or the betting pool, right? And so then Billy is kind of making its own bets, but based on the liquidity out in the market, there may be room for more, right? And so that's when you can add to your Billy vault, and Billy will go out and proportionally kind of use that as betting pool money and then come back and return you proportionally as well. And we're going to build out kind of like this whole token reward system and things like that. So the whole idea is that Billy's going to go out and bet and win, and we're going to give Billy over time a bunch of different strategies. We are starting with one market, one strategy, but over time you can see, sports betting isn't going anywhere. Sports isn't going anywhere. And there are just more and more opportunities to trade and participate in the sports betting markets that are programmable, right? And so as more of those open up, just becomes opportunity for the agent, because as I mentioned before, the winning is not necessarily the hardest part of it, right? So it's being able to get the money down. But the expectation again of like what the returns are, I think realistic returns on the bankroll is like 15-20%. It would be phenomenal returns.
Would be insane.
You know, pro sports bettors are returning like 10% to 30%, I would say. And that's like cream of the crop. I would say most are in that like 5% range. But even if you're returning 5% over all your sports bets, over thousands of bets, you're making quite a bit of money.
Yeah.
And so I would say that's kind of like the realistic return. But again, we're going to build in and pipe in all these different avenues to for Billy to have action in the market and roll over that bankroll multiple times, as much as possible. So that's the idea. That's all of the cool things you can do. Want to do a quick little demo in Discord real quick?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, just out of curiosity too. So someone like me who doesn't necessarily want to bet because of his addiction problems.
Yeah.
What's the best route for me from day one? Obviously, there will be a token. Obviously, that speaks to me. You get me any sort of cryptocurrency. I get very excited. What, like day one? How would a guy like me participate?
Yeah, so I would say, first of all, great question. So not only like if you don't want to bet because of whatever reason, but there's also just like this idea that you can create this kind of community betting atmosphere where you're all rooting for the same thing, right? Like,
right.
You're a massive NBA fan. Mm-hmm. Imagine now what I thought was like one of the coolest stories when building this. One of our developers, his name is Brendan. He's not a huge sports guy, and he wasn't a huge sports betting guy when we started building this. And he texted me one night, and we were betting like $8 on the test account. And he's like, dude, I don't know who the hell these people are. I don't know anybody on the team. I couldn't name a single player, but I'm sitting here at dinner sweating an $8 Knicks bet, and I'm having the time of my life. And I'm thinking to myself, like, that is this very cool thing that we have the opportunity to do here. So like, imagine then just by buying and holding the token, you are now part of Billy's betting, right? Because he's going to burn the tokens over time, right? You kind of just pull up every day and you're like, what are we sweating today, Billy? You know what I mean?
And would I get a report on like what the bets are and stuff like that?
So we'll have a whole dashboard that'll come out. The agent will actually be aware of its bets, obviously. So you'll be able to ask it kind of what it's got. We'll have a dashboard where you can kind of track the bankroll and the wallet growth and all of that stuff. We may even have a dashboard that will eventually kind of like feed the plays as they happen in real time. That won't be for launch because we only have kind of that one source, and we can't do that with the SportsTensor stuff. But as we build more, you might have a dashboard of like, oh, Billy, or just get a notification, Billy made this bet, et cetera, et cetera. But like I said, you might be able to, or you're kind of like able to pull up every night and be like, what are we sweating tonight? And our idea here is like, we want to build this really cool sports betting community, and we're going to do like nightly streams. I might have our buddy Jay Webb be live streaming NBA games every night, sweating with Billy, right? And like all of a sudden now you're all watching, hanging out, enjoying sports, and you've got all the same bets, and you had to do none of the work, right? And like that's kind of fun. So whether you're a casual sports bettor or you're not a bettor at all, but you love sports, I think this is really interesting. And then like, again, it graduates into this more aggressive type of exposure with the idea of like staking and the Billy vault, right? Where you could actually put additional skin in the game with Billy proportional to your stake. And it will actually bet some of that on your behalf and return some of that on your behalf, right? So that's the idea. Did that make sense?
100%. Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah.
It's kind of a cool idea, like in my opinion, right? It's like this community exposure to sports that is like where the person could have some fun sweat and not even need to do anything.
Look at this Discord of yours.
Yeah, so this is
chaos.
You mean
look
on
at
this
that side panel? Yeah.
Oh, dude, this is all like It's
Oh
all
my
turned
God.
into like AI groups. It's all AI groups and like old Discords and sports betting groups and NFT
So
groups.
will Billy Betts have its own Discord
Yes,
also?
Billy has its own Discord. It
Mhm.
is here. It's here. You can find it, I think, on the Twitter account. If not, I will post the link there. But you can come in here, hang
It'll be in
out.
the show
We're gonna
notes
be-
too. We'll have all the show notes up there.
Yeah, we're going to be like opening this up to the public as we launch and things like that. But I have I've been testing this here today in my little test account. It might be a feature in the future too, where you could add Billy privately to your own server, like I have it, right? And so you've kind of got your own private instance of Billy. I think
Right.
there's this really cool idea of personalization with the AI agent. So like imagine in the future you could connect your DraftKings to it.
Yes.
And it will know the types of bets you make and have your P&L and tell you, hey, maybe you shouldn't bet this tonight because you suck at it. Right?
Yeah.
Like, or
Maybe
hey,
betting's not for you.
or hey, I know you love same game parlays. I see I see some opportunity in the Celtics game tonight, right? So but like I said, you can interact with this right on Twitter if you just tag it.
Right.
I like it in Discord a little more just because it's more conversational,
Mhm.
right? But I did a little test here prior for us. My bald friend Chamber loves the Lakers. What do you think about the Lake Show? He says, tell your boy Chamber the Lakers are trapped tonight. Money fading them hard. LeBron's been iffy. Lines moved 2 points against them since open. So it's telling you valuable things here while also, poking a little fun. And then I just decided, hey, I'm going to ask it at the top of the show. What's your least favorite month of the year? Look what it said.
Is it February?
It said February.
I'm telling you, man, that is the worst month of the year.
It said February is brutal. The NBA All-Star break kills my action, and tax season's got me questioning my entire betting model. At least March Madness is right around the corner.
Yeah.
So the idea is that Billy
knows what's up, man. Billy knows what's up.
Yeah, we modeled its personality off of like some of our favorite, sports personalities on Twitter and things like that. But like we could do a real-time test here. So are the Lakers playing tonight?
The Lakers are playing in Utah tonight.
Okay, so
there's question. Luka is questionable currently as they ramp him back up. So see, and this is the last game before All-Star break, which a lot of players will kind of phone in, and anything can really happen on this night.
Billy's lowering his bet sizes tonight because he doesn't know what to expect.
Yeah, it's tonight is like one of the worst. I would imagine probably one of the worst betting nights for basketball is
probably
the night before we go on All-Star break.
Yeah. So here, I'm just going to ask it. Can you show me LeBron props in the market tonight? Luka's questionable. And so I'm watching the terminal over here as we're doing it, but Billy is now going out, collecting some of that data from the market, and it will respond here with.
So you can see that on the back end.
Because I'm running it right here on my other screen. But so it should respond here in just a second. Hopefully, if Billy's not sleeping, but it's typing.
He's working.
LeBron's at over 25 or 24.5 across most books. Pinnacle just moved to over 23.5 minus 131 with Luka questionable. Sharp money's fading. LeBron hard. Might know something about that ankle. Interesting.
I don't know about ankle talk. Ankle talk.
But so like it gave you real prices, real props at real sports books. So let's see if it will. I'm going to ask it.
Let's try to see if there's any updates yet.
Yeah, so I just asked it any other prop opportunities in the Lakers game. So now it should be able to go out and again.
We should be calling those opportunities, by the way. Like,
I like that.
I feel like that's like a low hanging fruit.
I'm gonna have to teach Billy about some opportunities. But yeah, so it's gonna go out. Austin Reeves over 18.5 minus 116
100%
online. You like that one?
Smash.
Didn't he score like 40 points the other night?
45 the other night. That's a real man's amount of points. but he's been averaging, I think in the month of February, has been averaging 27 points a game, something like that.
It also says that Rui under 14.5
Points?
getting hammered. Yeah, under 14.5.
I think over. I think Rui over. I like
hammer the under.
Hammer the. Oh yeah, no. I am the worst. I'm the most emotional better.
You can also ask it now. You'll be able to ask it things about like main lines too. But I like betting props, so I'm asking about props. So you should be able to ask it something like.
So Billy's saying under on Rui 14.5.
Yeah,
I'm gonna say over. All right, we'll compare.
Well, Billy actually didn't suggest. He just said Rui under 14.5 is getting hammered. So it knows that.
Just letting you know
the
what
way
the
the line.
Is.
Yeah, because it is what it's doing here, and I'm going to try to show that right now. Is it's keeping track of the lines over the course of the day, so it can tell you what the movement has been, right? So if you know, okay, did Rui open at 15.5 and it's now down to 14? Well, that means money's coming in on under, right? So like maybe if you find a 15.5 out there, which you could ask Billy for, that's worth betting, right? Like
betting the under on.
Betting the under on because you can tell by, again, remember, market move, just like your trends in crypto, right?
Right.
And again, you can do projections based stuff, all that kind of stuff, which we'll build in here over time. But show me the biggest points, props, movement in the last hour. So like I said, it's tracking all of these lines periodically over and refreshing, scanning the market for big prop moves. I don't even know how to say this. I just call them pods. Pods points jumped.
Brandon Podziemski?
Yeah, pods jumped from 8.5 to 11.5. Holy cow. Tari Eason dropped from 3.5 or dropped 3.5 from 15.5 to 12. There was probably some Warriors news and what's Tari on the Rockets?
I guess so.
There's probably some lineup news that came out. So that's interesting, right? So now you can know here that these markets have moved. So you know when you're looking at something potentially off market or not.
Interesting.
I'm just going to see what it says here. I don't know how it's going to answer this. We're watching in real time.
What's the question? I don't have my glasses on.
Okay, so I'm looking now so it jumped from 8.5 to 3.5 on its points props. So idea is, are there any slow books that haven't gotten out to 11.5 yet? So I'm just going to ask it, are there any off market lines? I don't know if it'll answer this, but we'll find out. I'm down for a live demo. So Billy Betts is typing Sport Trades got pods at 11 minus 133, prize picks at 12.5. Wow. Okay. But look there. That's free ARB money if you can get down both. There you go. Billy trying to make you some money.
Billy's just trying. He's not selfish. He's not lining his own pockets. He's just trying to make people money.
That's right. Now let's just ask it what his favorite fast food chain is. See what it says. Let's see. We'll see a little bit of Billy's personality.
I feel like Billy likes Wendy's.
Wendy's?
Or Taco Bell.
He was talking a lot earlier about, I asked him about his favorite place to eat in Vegas, and he was talking a lot about the Circus buffet. Five Guys. It's not even close. There you go.
See, Five Guys is premium fast food. I feel like if you can't
parlaying favorites, expensive but worth every penny. Plus the cashier always hooks up extra fries, like it's my bookkeeping promo books. Awesome. So there's a little bit of kind of like what Billy can do in action when you're talking to it. So I guess I didn't even. We're already past time, but I didn't even talk about like where to find it and all that stuff. So the token will be launching Friday. It will be a virtuals Billy pairing on the Solana blockchain. So if you are interested in getting some Billy tokens, you will want to load up some Phantom wallet with your virtuals token, that is the best way for you to buy. If you are part of the Vader AI project, there's actually a pre-sale happening for stakers of the Vader project. That will happen at 9 a.m. Eastern on Friday. So Valentine's Day.
I love it.
Yeah,
I love it.
So,
I feel like this is not going to be the last time we're going to be talking about Billy Betts.
I hope not. I mean, I hope in a good way. Like,
yeah, no, 100%.
Like Billy Betts acquired by Barstool Sports for
all I want is that Billy Betts ad money. That's all I want. Give me that. Give me that Billy Betts ad money.
Hey, I'm telling you, you might not be a bad foil to J-Web, the live streamer, for Billy Sweats, the live stream.
I can sweat with the best of them. So that's, yeah, I love it. Awesome. I'm very excited. I'm very proud of you. I'm very excited for you. I will be participating full clip. So this is exciting. Not at the market cap I wanted, but
look, here's the thing, man. When you have when you're building a project like this, you need to do it the right way in terms of if you do this stuff like fair launch, pump fund, and try to launch a real company and real product.
I honestly didn't know you could launch a token without pump fund. So this is news to me.
You literally can't sustain it, right? Like we have a
100%.
team here that is full-time that is working on this. I am full-time working on this. I have full-time developers that are working on this, right? And we need to support that team in a way that doesn't involve us sniping our own supply and dumping on people, right? Like that is.
It has been absolute madness the past few months in the crypto streets. So we got to get back to real projects again. So this is a breath of fresh air. I'm very excited about this. I think this is going to be this. There's really nothing else comparable so far, at least at this level. So we might be first to market, and you might be the Kleenex of AI sports betting. So I'm excited about this for you.
I would love to be the Kleenex of
Billy
AI sports betting.
That's it, man.
Well, thank you for letting me share. We'll be hopefully talking about Billy a bunch. And if you are interested in sports and sports betting and AI, as I am, I promise you what we're doing will at the very least interest you. So come hang out. Hit me up in the DMs with questions. Come into the Discord. Chat with Billy. Chat with the team. And Billy Betts, Billy Banks, Billy Burns, baby.
Oh, Billy.
Where's the Billy memes? We need that.
We're going to have
the very first one. That has to be it, man. Oh, that's funny.
All right. I'm going to go pick up some pizza.
Hold on. Wait a second. We went too long. Do we have 1 minute for 1 minute of pain?
I don't know. Is pain available? He was
no, he's there. I need his
all right.
All
right, bring him up. My pizza's gonna be late. I don't even know where it is. I can't find it.
Let's just throw him up.
Let's throw him up here. Hey, buddy. 1 minute of pain.
1 minute of pain.
Like 30 seconds.
Identical.
All right, Payne. We want your quick take on Billy, and then we want your longer 45-second take on Kendrick.
Couldn't be more excited for Billy. It's super dope. I love you. I mean, you've really thought this out well. Obviously, you've been, and I don't have to come up here and lie. Like, I'm being serious. You've thought this out well. So I'm excited to see what it can do. I've been in the sports betting streets for a while, so I'm actually interested how this will make me better because I got on a cold streak and it sucked. As far as the Kendrick Lamar performance, so my group from my college friends, it's pretty split. We got one, he's a diehard K-Dot fan, so he's gonna love it no matter what. Another guy who's loves him like lyrically, got a couple friends who were like, man, this is just, it's not it, because they were
sounds like Drake fans to me. That's all I'm hearing.
One was definitely a Drake fan. A couple others were like, if you want lyrics, that's K-Dot, right? And if you want, he just doesn't really have bangers.
No, I understand that. Yeah.
And he hasn't made music in a while. he made some recently, but he had a huge long break.
Yes, he did.
So, there are some people really like, oh, this guy's still relevant, Money Trees and Poetic Justice and 2011. So it's 2025 and he's barely released
so long ago now.
So long. We're so old.
Yeah, we are so old. That's very interesting. I'm very excited. I think it was I think this last 6 months or however long it's been, 7-8 months now, has been extremely interesting. I like seeing when people that are artistic geniuses like Kendrick get excited about something and then put all of their energy into projects. And what we saw at the Super Bowl, I think, was the final, the final throes of it. So I thought it was fantastic.
Yeah, it was interesting that one of the takes was that he used Drake to make himself more relevant. So that's
not
a
wrong.
Hot take. Yeah,
not wrong.
Yeah.
Not wrong.
So overall, it was interesting. Yeah, I saw a lot of the last thing. Saw a lot of the I mean, you could just say like whites versus blacks or whatever, but I saw a lot of the
I don't like that. I don't like that kind of stuff.
You saw a lot of the
I look like one of those guys. It's very difficult for me. Okay, I look like a guy that would not be a fan.
You look like a guy that would.
It's very upset. I work very hard, and a lot of people that look like me make it hard for me. That's all I'm saying.
Hey, we got it all covered because Bunch looks like Steph, so he looks like he's mad.
Yo, who said that? Somebody in the war room said it the other day. Dort said it. Yeah. Oh my god.
That's so funny.
He said he had thought it so long and he just didn't know that he could say it. That was
you can just say it. It's amazing.
I'll let you get out of here and get some pizza though.
Yeah. Kids are gonna kill me.
Payne, thank you very much for 1 minute of pain. And thank you all for listening today. And until next time, keep the mic hot.
What have I done? What have I become? I can't describe this.